What up, and what's popping? It's your dog Breeze from Fahrenheit 451, part of the Fourth and Gold Network. We're burning the books alive. 5-1 in the NBA yesterday. 7-1 in the NBA 2 days ago. In the midst of a 12-2 run in the last 2 days. Let's keep it rolling. My apologies if it's a little echoey. I keep forgetting to grab my headphone before I go live. Nevertheless, back on my best bets in the NBA for December 30th. We are plus 32.2 units on the season. We got to get back to the 35 units that we were at earlier in the month. But if we could go into the new year up 40 units, that would be our goal and that would be ideal. All right, let's get right into it. You know what I'm saying? I'm repping for my team, like the beam. My guys will be just cashing me out, right? So let's start there. Swiper, the Fox, De'Aaron, Coach Killer. De'Aaron Fox of the Sacramento Kings. I'm taking him to go over his 25 points prop at minus 135 odds over at FanDuel. He's cleared this line in his last 5 out of 6 games, cleared on this line in his last 6 out of 8 games versus Dallas. Turn up the volume. De'Aaron Fox, 20 or more field goal attempts in his last 5 out of 6 games versus Dallas. 24 and 22 field goal attempts in his last 2 games. In his last 2 out of 3 games, 25 field goal attempts in his last 2 games. Or maybe that's his last 2 versus Dallas. I want to say 25 field goal attempts in his last 2 versus Dallas. Nevertheless, Dallas allowing the 9th most points to point guards in their last 30 days. So De'Aaron Fox is right around the 24 or let's say 22 or more shots that he's taking per game. We need 25 points. Like I said, turn up the volume. This is like a volume play. Also, De'Aaron Fox is a friend of the show over here, so I feel like I can more times than I cannot count on De'Aaron Fox to put up some points. He is the engine that drives this Sacramento team. And kind of like Kyrie was a year or 2 ago, if De'Aaron Fox's points total is low, if he only has a few points going into halftime, I'm not sweating that he's going to turn it on in the 3rd and 4th quarter. So first up, I'm going to be taking De'Aaron Fox, the swiper, over his 25 points prop. Next up, we're going to stay right here. Malik Monk. We're going to stay right here. We're going to keep it Kentucky. Malik Monk of the Sacramento Kings to go over his 15 points prop, minus 135 odds over at Bet365. Malik Monk, he's hit this line in his last 7 out of 10 games. Turn up the volume. 14 field goal attempts or more in his last 8 out of 10 games. 13 field goal attempts in his last game versus Dallas when he played the minutes. When he's had 13 field goal attempts or more, he's cleared this line in his last 11 out of 14 games this season. Next, from the Washington Wizards. I'm interested to see how many people are going to be on this today. From the Washington Wizards, Alex Sarr, the rookie in DC. Alex Sarr for 2 assists. So I'm taking Alex Sarr to get 2 assists. I believe it's like minus 155 or something. Alex Sarr, 2 assists. He's had 5, 3, and 5 assists in his last 3 out of 4 games on 8, 5, and 6 potential assists. 5, 3, and 5 assists on 8, 5, and 6 potential assists. He's had 3 and 5 assists in his last 2 games versus the New York Knicks on 3 and 6 potential assists. We just need 2. We just need 2. But like I said, the odds were a little ugly on that one, so I parlayed it with Malik Monk to get 10 points, a line that he's hit in his last 20 out of 25 games and in his last 3 out of 4 versus Dallas when he plays his minutes. I keep saying when he plays his minutes because the last game Malik Monk played versus Dallas, he only played like less than 5 minutes, all right? Next, from the Charlotte Hornets, I'm taking Miles Bridges, 810 boy. Miles Bridges to go over his 8 rebounds. Got that at minus 130 odds over at ESPN Bet. This is a line that he's cleared in his last 3 games and in his last 5 out of 7 games. Miles Bridges has had 8, 14, and 10 rebounds in his last 3 games. 8, 15, and 9 rebounds in his last 3 games versus Chicago. Clearing this line in his last 2 out of 3 games with no LaMelo Ball. And in his last game versus the Chicago Bulls without LaMelo Ball, who is doubtful to play today. The Chicago Bulls have allowed the last 4 small forwards that they faced to go over their rebound total. The Chicago Bulls have allowed their last 5 out of 8 power forwards that they faced to go over their rebound total. So we all know that Miles Bridges is a small forward. They've let the last 4 small forwards go over their rebound total. But we all know Miles Bridges will more than likely be suiting up at the power forward position. And they've let their last 5 out of 8 power forwards that they face go over their line. Now, in this game, we're probably not going to have any Cody Martin, any Brandon Miller, and any LaMelo Ball. Without Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball, without Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges has cleared this line in the 2 games that he's played this season in the similar circumstances. No Brandon Miller, no LaMelo Ball. He's had 7 and 10. Excuse me, he hasn't cleared this line, but he's had 7 and 10 rebounds in his last 2 games. This season, no Brandon Miller, no LaMelo Ball. All right. Last but not least, if you're new to this or if you're new around here, then you might not know our boy. But if you are familiar to these parts, to this neck of the woods, then you know about our boy Walker Texas Kessler, Ranger of the Utah Jazz. I'll be taking Walker Kessler over his 10 rebounds, minus 140 odds over at Bet365. He's hit this line in his last 10 out of 13 games. Just got to make sure that my notes are correct. Walker Kessler over 10 rebounds, minus 140 over at Bet365. He's hit this line in his last 10 out of 13 games, 11, 14, and 12 rebounds in his last 3 games versus Denver. Now, when I was looking at this, it wasn't going to make my final card because I'm like, man, front court in Utah is log jammed. However, John Collins he should not play. I believe he's doubtful for the game, but he should not play. And without John Collins in the lineup, Walker Kessler, Texas Ranger, is 4-4 to the line this season without John Collins in the lineup. 12, 16, 16, and 11 rebounds in those 4 games without John Collins. 12 rebounds in his last game versus Denver without John Collins. Now, I took Walker Kessler over his 10 rebounds for a whole unit. For a half unit, I took Walker Kessler over his 11 rebounds at plus 105 odds over at Bet365 for the reasons that I just described to you. So, in recap, Ngubawale, I'll be taking from the Sacramento to Sacramento Kings. You did. De'Aaron Fox over his 25 points. From the Washington Wizards, I'll be taking Alex Sarr over his 2 assists. Pairing that with Malik Monk over his 10 points. Separately, I'll be taking Malik Monk for 15 points. Next, I'll be taking Miles Bridges of the Charlotte Hornets over his 8 rebounds, not to be confused with Mikal Bridges from the New York Knicks. And last but not least, I'll be taking Walker Kessler, Texas Ranger, for 10 rebounds, also for 11 rebounds as well. Like, comment, and subscribe for your daily sports betting videos and analysis. Let's keep burning them. As always, I will see you tomorrow. Love, peace, and fish grease. Let's continue to run up some units. If you want all my plays as soon as I place them for only 16 cents a day, that is 0.16. $5 a month, 16 cents a day. You want all my plays as soon as I place them. Subscribe to the Patreon. That is linked down below. Bam. And it's also right there. All right. With that being said, love, peace, and fish grease. The boy got to be to work in about 4 hours, but I had to take the time to come through and chit chat with you all. Gamble responsibly. Do your own research. Never bet more than you can afford to lose, and more importantly than anything, manage your bankroll. Sometimes the best bet is no bet. With that being said, follow me on Twitter at F4 FIDDY and the number one at F451 over at Twitter. You got my straights. So I'll get some builders and some parlays on the timeline. I cooked up 2 so far. They're in the Patreon, but I'll get some stuff out to you guys since I got an early jump on this slate today. All right. I'm out, man. I'm gone. Any added plays that I have, I'll try to leave them in a pinned comment. But like I said, that's why you should follow me over there on Twitter. And or maybe just tap into the Patreon. I don't know. The choice is yours. Love, peace, and fish grease, man. I'm out of here.